Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I see everybody, just about everybody's picked up their graded revised reports. I graded the reports pretty much independently of what you had done before. I looked over what you said you had changed, but I just graded everything from a fresh start. And then after I did that, I looked at the grades. What I discovered was that most people probably improved their writing probably about 1 point, maybe out of 10. So there may be a few isolated incidents where people went backwards, a tenth of a point, 2/10 of a point. That's just the way it turned out. You think I did something wrong, you can certainly feel free to come by and talk to me about it, and we can look at it some more. Let me talk a little bit about the rest of the week. The rest of the week is going to be devoted to the oral presentations. And so you need to work with your teammate and come up with roughly about an 8-minute presentation. Each of you needs to speak about 4 minutes. And then we'll allocate roughly a couple minutes for questions. So a total of about 10 minutes per team. All right. I want to remind you of a couple of things that when you're working on your PowerPoint presentation, let's see, I think we got PowerPoint 2016 upstairs on the computer. You need to come to class a little bit earlier and load your presentation onto that computer. Now, when you're sitting in the room facing the board, you know that there's basically two sides of the room. There's a set of tables on one side and another set of tables on the right side. So on the left-hand side, there's a table closest to the podium, and the computer that is closest to the aisle, the one that you would get to first if you're approaching that table, is where we're going to connect the computer. The projector. The projector is mounted on the ceiling, and there's a cable that's going to go into that computer. I will have come in earlier in the morning. I'll have logged in to the computer, so the computer should be logged in. And you should be able to see on the screen, this Windows background, and look for your day. So we have Tuesday 12:30 section, Tuesday 3:30, Wednesday 3 o'clock, Thursday 12:30, and Thursday 3:30. And so dump your PowerPoint presentation in there. So when we show up to lab, we can just go into the correct folder and then find the presentation. The GTA will be, or the TA will be the one who assigns the order. They come up with some creative order for who will go first. I heard that bribes are possible, so if you want to go first, bring him some donuts or something. Dr. Nelson contacted me this morning and asked if he could come and participate, and I said certainly. So he and I team taught this class for about 10 years, and so he just retired this past summer, but he has a warm spot in his heart for this class. And so some of you may expect to see him in the room. He'll sit in the back of the room. Let me give you some other suggestions, some reminders about this presentation. And if we think about this as your computer screen, and you're working on your computer screen on your PowerPoint presentation, most screens, let's say they're about 20 inches like this. And here you're sitting here looking at this thing, and this is probably on the order of about, say, 24 inches. Okay, roughly, your nose is about as far away from the screen as the screen is wide, roughly 1-to-1. Now, the computer, the screen in the room upstairs, this is about a 6-foot screen. Okay, this is the screen in Brown 320, and the projector pretty much is able to cover roughly about a 5-foot, 6-foot width. So if you're going to maintain this same kind of ratio of distance to the screen width, that means that the person viewing back here maybe is on the order of 6 to 8 feet away. But the reality is the guys who are going to be evaluating you, that's me and Dr. Nelson and your TA, we're going to be sitting This is feet. We're going to be sitting on the order of about 24 feet. We're going to be at the back of the room back here, 24 feet away. So you see, this is a ratio of about 4 to 1. I say that only to say to you that if you look at your computer screen while you're working on it tonight, working on your presentation, you may say, this looks really good. You need to get out of your chair, go grab a coffee, and then come back to your chair and say, how does this look from 4 feet away? Or 8 feet away, Make this four times bigger than your normal distance. I think you'll find that you may want to make some changes. Okay? What looks good on a screen when you're sitting in a chair will not look good in general like this. I think even here in this room, this screen is not big enough for people in the back row. But life is what it is. I'm just dropping a few hints there. Okay? So you need to be judicious about what you put on the screen, what you can cram into a screen. A computer screen at 24 inches may not look good at 24 feet. All right? Any questions about the presentation? All right. So you'll give your presentation, then I will, or the TA will ask for questions. Seeing none from the room, we'll start asking some questions. Okay? We'll usually ask at least one of each student. So be prepared to take some questions. Okay. Yes, question? No question? Okay. I'll make sure to have some Kleenexes in the back of the room when the tears start flowing. No, it's rare that happens. All right, so I wish you the very best of luck. It's been a great semester as far as work. The TAs have all told me that they've been pretty pleased with the outcomes. And so we're looking forward to this presentation. I always have told students it's a highlight of my semester. Yes, Mr. Pope.
Where do you want us to turn in the teammate evaluation?
Okay, so Mr. Pope is jumping the gun here, and that's the next thing here. It's teamwork evaluation. Everyone should have brought this. You downloaded this thing, assessment of teammate, and at the bottom, assessment of myself. So this is a required component, and it needs to be turned in today. I'm going to suggest, if I think most of you will probably go out the back door, just leave it on the back door, on the back desk there near Allie Brown, or just right back there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. If it's missing, I'll shoot you an email note. See you all this week.